What is up, Alex Bangkok here, live from the pond. Tell him, Alex, fucking off. And want to talk American football, where kicking is only a small piece of the game.
Small piece.
Where are my Jacksonville London Knights? Beatles, baby.
Yeah, Alex.
Blake Bortles, baby. Teenage Mutant Ninja Bortles, baby.
Cowabunga, Alex.
You taking the piss out of me?
Piss?
You telling me Joe Flacco is a fucking flack job? He's a serial killer. You taking the piss out of my biscuits and my tea? No. You're telling me Blake Bortles, baby? Yeah, baby. He's like the Jacksonville London Knights are like the fucking Beatles, baby.
The Beatles, baby.
Alex Bangkok again live. NFL we're talking.
Yeah.
You got The Hobbit on. You're watching The Hobbit. You're drinking fucking the tea from everywhere.
I sure am.
Maybe some of that Boston tea slipped over the pond, baby.
Yeah, baby.
And it tastes so sweet because we used to be in charge of America.
The Redcoats, baby.
Now we're stealing their NFL teams because the Jaguars are like the Beatles, baby.
Beatles.
Alex Bangkok live from the pond, and you're
Oasis.
listening to Piff on the Blitz, baby.
Where the weight at? Before I ran up in the building, talking way back. I stay late night, dreaming about the payback. All I wanna do is get rich,
I do realize that the saying is across the pond or over the pond, not from the pond. Hey. Come in, shut the fucking door, for God's sake. You're letting all the hot air out. Piff on the Blitz, episode 5. Donovan McNabb was number 5. Joe Flacco was number 5. Who else was number 5? Maybe Jeff Garcia was number 5. That's all I got. I don't know who else. 5. I don't know. Episode 5, Piff on the Blitz. Week 5 is what's ahead of us. Week 4 just wrapped up. And what is up? You know what I'm saying? Come in. Wait, said that. Look, I'm live from the back of a Dungeons and Dragons conference. Okay, wrong fantasy. It smells like Chinese takeout and 1,000 people are fucking sweating Mountain Dew. Let me recalibrate here for a second. Top of my head. Live from your Grandpa Elliot's basement. He was a World War II vet, and he knows everything about Y.A. Tittle. And he played Y.A. Tittle in his fantasy league back in fucking 1950. I don't know, but he left his spreadsheets on the recliner and he was laid the fuck out. I said, hey, good day, sir. He said, oh, how are you doing? And I said, can I take these spreadsheets? And he said, oh, yeah, which one? Oh, you know, I got some spreadsheets here from 19 to... Oh, that's enough. Gotta go. Jumped on my Segway. Boom. Went across the world. Now I'm at my computer desk. Wait, live from my computer desk. Wow, that was just about as good as my game picks this week. Okay, moving on. I'm Piff, aka the GOAT, aka why does the world suck so much? It's a terrible place. Aka Drew Trees. I went over the pond, baby, and I threw 60 on these fuck boys. Yeah, but dude, the fucking what? Danny Weedhead, Benjamin Potson, you know the deal. If I was a coach, I would play Macho Man Randy Savage highlights. That would hype everyone up. And we would drink Red Bulls until we fucking pissed Red Bulls, and then we would eat Slim Jims, and then fucking we'd win state. We'd win state again. Probably back to back. Because I do the 2-year contract thing. I'm not a homer. I'm not going to stick around. I'm not trying to be your friend. I just want the W's. You know what I'm saying? I just want them W's. And that's it. But do you guys want to really get rich? You tuned in for to the Piff on the Blitz because you want to be rich. You want the Gucci strap belt. You want the chains. Okay. But listen, come here. Sit down. You can't be rich. It's not in your DNA. Let me see this genealogy. Got the genealogy right here, Piff. Says he's a Flacco starter. a Flacco star. You can't be rich. You don't have the balls to play Elijah McGuire. You didn't throw him in your lineup. You drafted Todd Gurley last year. So look, I got $1 contest you can play on DraftKings. I got a lineup for you. Get a job. Go back to school. You can't be rich. Nobody can. Maybe some people can, all right? But they're not really rich. They just have lots of money. And they're not happy still. And they fucking do all kinds of weird shit. And I'm just being honest about it to you. Being rich is for the birds. Spending quality time is where it's at. Listening to just having a good show is where it's really at. I think, you guys have gotten a little bit too hype about this money thing. As if you needed to survive. Come on. Get a grip, all right? Speaking of money, okay, well, let's just go right into the DraftKings results from last week. We played Eli. He did really well. You should have played him. CJ Anderson did really well. Cook did pretty good, and now his season's over. ACL tear. Keenan Allen, he did pretty good. Odell Beckham, it was questionable to put him in the lineup, but we made the decision to do it, and it turned out. He did okay. Garcon, don't think so. Hooper, no. Robert Woods, pfft. More like Robert Ass. Okay. Denver, not bad. So the lineup was, I think we're fairly the middle of the road every week right now. We haven't really struck gold. I know you guys are so concerned about mining and cold and striking shit. Look, we didn't do that. We haven't done it yet. We got to go deeper. That's all. But it wasn't a terrible lineup. And like I said, you could have flexed some things out. You never do what I tell you to do. Anyways, this is just the baseline for it. It's like when you're mixing paint and you start with a base and throw your own fucking color in it. Make it whatever color you like. Just don't make me stand there for 45 minutes staring at 10 shades of green. I don't care what color the bathroom is. I just want to shit in it. You know what I'm saying? That's not a personal experience. I just imagine there's a husband out there on Sunday who had such an ass lineup that he said, fuck it, I'll go to Lowe's and look at paint. I'm sure it happened. I know it happened. There's billions of people playing fantasy. And I know it happened. Oh, you burned your fucking jersey last week? Oh, you burned your season tickets? Is this what you're doing now? You fucking... Look, you're like that fucking kid that didn't get invited to the birthday party, so you're in the bush across the street with binoculars and a fucking superhero costume on, looking into the party like, oh, gee, they look like they are having a lot of fun. I wish that I had a friend and was invited. No. You're fucking a hero. So let us play the games so you can fucking save us all. All right, so that was the DraftKings lineup for week 4. Let's go over okay, so we were 32-15, right? All right, we got the Packers right, got the Dolphins wrong, got the Falcons wrong, got the Steelers right, got the Bengals right, got the Cowboys wrong, and yada, yada, yada. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins and 9 losses. So, okay, 7 and 9. 32-15 was our record last week, and after week 4, we are 39-24. It's still winning. It's still a winning percentage. So what I learned from week 4, there was a couple things. Obviously, the Dolphins haven't figured it out yet. And, again, London wasn't that great of a thing for me. I woke up and had a wide receiver just get, average points. I had Devontae Parker. But it was a lot better than waking up and finding out your defense completely lost their shit. So not too bad. I did win in fantasy this week, so I'm 2-2. So I'm waiting for Doug Martin to get back. He's coming back this week. And so I just had to keep it afloat until he got back so that now I have a full team. In the process, I lost Greg Olsen. And so I'm 2-2. I kept it afloat. Now my real season begins. I have essentially a full team. So we'll see what goes on there, and I'll keep you up to date. 2-2. Tom Brady's my quarterback. Seattle's my defense, so I had a good week last week. All right. Other things that stood out to me, the Cowboys, hey, I fucking told you that their pass defense was bad, and nobody give a shit, and now everybody wants to act like they fucking know about it, like you knew about it, like you were talking all this fucking hype about these rookies and shit, and look what the Rams did to them. Are the Rams for real? The verdict's still out. I can't make that call. I can't tell you the Rams are for real, for real. A lot of other people are ready and willing to tell you how much the Rams are the fucking best team in the world right now, and they're the #1 offense in the league. But look at the defenses that they faced, and it doesn't tell me anything that you beat up on Dallas's defense. They lost like 5 fucking starters. So they've got a bunch of young rookies and players that don't have experience back there, and they do nothing but play zone. They're afraid to ever play man, and they just can't hold it down. This has been the story of Dallas's defense for years, Jerry Jones wants to spend money on offense and just wants to do patchwork on defense, and this is what you're going to get. So are the Rams for real? I don't fucking know. They play Seattle next week. I'll give you my decision then. Couple other quick things, Buffalo and Atlanta. So surprising, isn't it, that they can hold the Atlanta Falcons to under 20 points on the road? And people are talking about, can they win the division because the Patriots aren't doing so good? No, I don't think so. Get out of here with that. But the Bills could take a wild card spot. The way that they're playing, the way that their defense is holding up, but they've got to stay healthy, and they've got to continue it. It was very surprising that they did that. Didn't expect it, and I fucked that game choice up. But I don't know many people that picked the Bills over the Falcons. I really don't. All right, and Chargers did the same thing that they always do, and how embarrassing is it to have a fucking stadium in LA and it's filled with Eagles fans? There's fucking Eagles fans in California too. Anytime the Chargers have a home game, it fills up with the other team's fans. What? The players can't be feeling that. They can't be. And, Phillip Rivers can't close fucking games. The offense just can't do what it needs to do. The defense is not that good either. So the Chargers, they're just the Chargers. And moving to LA is the worst fucking thing that they could have done, because it's not going to get better. The stadium takes like a couple years to rebuild. They're going to be rebuilding because Phillip Rivers is fucking done. And, dude, Melvin Gordon, he's just not. I mean, he was bottled up this week by the Eagles. So, yeah, bad for the Chargers. I noticed that. Patriots got upset. That was surprising, too. And the Patriots defense, we're going to get into that later on in the show. Jaguars, how do you go to fucking London, win 44-7 against a pretty good defense, and then show up and play the Jets and lose? What? Raiders, Broncos win as expected. Broncos at home, just too tough. Carr gets hurt. He might be out a few weeks. He's got that Tony Romo injury to the back, and it was interesting to see Tony Romo calling that game as that injury happened, and obviously he has a lot of insight on that. It ended his career. It's not going to end Carr's, but he could be out a little bit longer than people expect. And then Monday night's game was fantastic. Kansas City held it down. We got that right, and the home field advantage played up. But Washington is a lot better than I guess I even thought. They lost their offensive coordinator. I thought their offense would be a complete mess. It's not bad. It's not bad. They surprised Kansas City with a few things last night, but I think what stood out to me the most about Washington is their fire on defense. The coordinator has them all fired up. They're hitting hard. They're making tackles. They're making good plays. And for the most part, they were doing well. Alex Smith is looking very good this season, and he turned up. And out of the pocket, he was throwing, very accurate, fantastic passes. And one of them late in the game to Albert Wilson was a key pass. And so he's showing up. And Andy Reid, he does great things with average quarterbacks, and he knows how to coach. And but what are we going to do when we get to the playoffs, Andy? Because every year you do this. You put together great teams. You've put together so many great teams with average quarterbacks. But then you get into the playoffs and you just get out-coached. You really do just get out-coached. Out-coached. All right? We're at halftime. Here's what we got coming up. Week 5 picks. Gonna give them to you. Survivor pick, I'll fucking try to give it to you. Another weekly fantasy lineup, sure. Why not? It's not like, if fucking you guys are reviewing so much that I was like, yeah, let me keep giving them the gold. And then I want to talk about the Patriots defense for a bit. But before all of that, new segment alert. So you think you can block me on the Twitter, huh? This is a new segment that I just made up this week in light of a situation that unfolded over the past weekend. So you think you can fucking block me, right? You think you can block me, Ryan Switzer? You dropped a punt in a game against the LA Rams this past weekend and your team lost 35-30. Maybe it had something to do with your turnover. No big deal. No, not the end of the world. You responded by saying, it's not the first time and it won't be the last time. Okay, yeah, that's probably true. Then you proceeded to go on a blocking campaign, blocking everyone who said anything about you, including people who didn't really say anything about you in particular. A certain follower of mine was blocked by you for having an issue with your it's gonna happen cavalier attitude following a very bad loss. This follower said, boy, you better not drop another punt. Ryan Switzer blocked him. I replied with, wow, you got blocked by a rookie. Did that offend you? Did you think that you weren't a rookie? Now, I know they're soft on all of you rookies in Dallas. Dez set that precedence years ago by refusing to carry Roy Williams pads after practice, but now it's gone and seeped into your little brains that you can be spoiled as shit. And so here's what I say. You spend more time on tweets than punts, that's muff. You spend an extensive amount of time reading through conversations just blocking fans left and right, that's muff. Your pregame routine is watching The Notebook and other romantic comedies. Are you getting ready to fuck or play football? Listen, you little ass looking to make a play by running 50 yards in a circle just to gain 3 ass fumble machine waiting to cough up a game in one play. You Beasley copycat, you're a punt return or two away from being a bust. B-U-S-T. I see you out there hanging off Dez Bryant's nutsacks every chance you get. You're not a fucking teammate, bro. You're a groupie, fam. You tweet about The Bachelorette in the offseason. I bet you DVR that shit too. I'm willing to bet you have the entire series of The OC and One Tree Hill on deck. You have more attention from a meme that you posted right now than you do from on-field the performance, the fucking on-the-field shit. So I wonder why fans are adding you social media drama queen. You think you can block me? But the truth is, I've been blocked by better. So shout out to you, Ryan Switzer, for that big block that you threw on me, but you couldn't throw a big enough one in the game to get the win. So I'm sure I'll be blocked by more. Actually, I will make that a cause of mine in order to get more material for segments. All right, so there's that. I mean, honestly though, does it make you feel better like after you fuck a game up and then you go on Twitter and you immediately start looking at responses of people? What do you think people are gonna say? Well, geez, Ryan, you played such a great game. You know, don't worry about the mistake. You're on fucking Twitter, bro. You're not at the neighborhood watch meeting, okay? This is gonna be a place where people are gonna be harsh of you. They're gonna have criticism. And, you know, what do you expect? But your idea of making yourself feel better is just blocking it all out. Is that how you deal with problems? You don't face them, you block them all out? And it's not a good idea to block your fans. There's some fucking maniacs out there, Ryan, dude, and they're fucking crazy. You know, I'm not like that at all. But I mean, you might have blocked the wrong person. You know what I'm saying? They might fucking do a whole podcast segment on you. All right. Another segment. Inside the Numbers with Piff McGoo. Inside the numbers. And these are the numbers that are pertinent to you as a fantasy owner or just a average fan, you know what I'm saying? All right, shutdown corners. Let's talk shutdown corners. And why would we talk shutdown corners? Because if you have a wide receiver that's facing them, you probably want to sit him this week. And the best corner in the game right now is Patrick Peterson. He averages, I don't know, about 31 snaps per reception. So somebody only gets a catch on him every 31 snaps. Morris Claiborne's in second with every 22 snaps. Every 22 snaps, Jonathan Joseph allows a catch. Every 22 snaps, Jimmy Smith allows one. Brashad Breeland, Josh Norman, they're at 20. So those corners, tough to catch the ball on. Patrick Peterson is the league's best. If we're talking corners from a passer rating perspective, Brandon Carr leads the league. He has the lowest passer rating allowed. Jalen Ramsey for the Jaguars is in second. And their passer rating looks like 20.0, 23.4. That's the passer rating when you're throwing at those guys. So if your fantasy receivers are playing any of the corners that I just mentioned, you might want to sit them or at least don't at them because you shouldn't expect a big game from them. But let me let you in on a little secret. Brandon Carr is not that good. And most of these corners, like Morris Claiborne, not that good. If I had a top wide receiver, I'd fucking play against him because, look, sometimes numbers do lie. The competition they faced isn't that good, bottom line. So, okay, moving on. What wide receiver has the most yards per route run? That means every time they run a route, you know, it counts. And then when they get yards on it, it goes into the average. You get it, right? The NFL average is 1.78 yards per route. The league leader is Stephon Diggs. He has 3.10 yards per route. Julio's in second, Brown's in third, Antonio Brown. Adam Thielen's in fourth, and Keenan Allen is in fifth with 2.37 yards. The average, like I said, was 1.78. So those are the receivers getting the yards after the catch, maybe catching some deep balls. And those are the numbers I feel like were the most important to you, folks. So wide receivers, corners, they're important. In fantasy, you might have 3 or 4 spots, and you need to know your matchups. And as far as defenses go, the Jaguars and the Ravens have good numbers. They have talent. So you always got to be careful when your offensive players go up against the Baltimore Ravens, the Jaguars, the Redskins, the Cardinals. They got Peterson on one side. They got the Honey Badger in the backfield. So be careful of all that going forward. And finally, we have pass blocking offensive lines in the NFL. So who protects their quarterback the best? Through 4 weeks of the NFL season, the Oakland Raiders are ranked number 1. They're at 88.1. That's their pass block efficiency. The pass block efficiency weighs pressures allowed on per snap basis with weighting towards sacks. So right now, believe it or not, the Oakland Raiders are the best offensive line in protecting their quarterback when he's trying to throw the ball. The Eagles are second. The Bucs are third. The Bucs have only played 1 less games than everybody, so keep that in mind. The Saints, the Titans, the Bills, the Steelers, the Jaguars, and the Redskins and Niners. So those are your top pass blocking offensive lines. So maybe you have a quarterback on one of those teams that I just mentioned, you know, the Bucs, the Saints, the Titans, the Bills, Steelers, Jags, Redskins, Raiders. You have a better chance of your quarterback having a good game because, you know, the line's doing a good job protecting. Or maybe you have wide receivers on those teams and, you know, their quarterback has more time, therefore your wide receiver makes more plays. So those are the numbers this week. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Earlier I told you I wanted to talk about the Patriots defense in this week's show, and I focus in on them because I see a lot of articles, you know, the Patriots defense, what happened? Oh, they're no good anymore. And, you know, right now they're currently last in the league in defense. They let, you know, so many passing yards go through them, with Kansas City putting up 40, with, you know, Carolina putting up almost 40 this last week. So what's the deal? You know, are they droppable? Yeah, you could probably drop them if you have them on fantasy. But is it fixable? Or are they just going to be this bad all year? Well, if they're this bad all year, Brady's numbers are going to be ridiculous. But here's my take, I don't think they will be. Because looking at the tape and, you know, reading and doing the research on the Patriots defense, you know, they've lost a lot of players. They lost guys to retirement. They lost Jones to Arizona. Well, they traded him. Hightower was injured. And then they've got new guys in the secondary. Gilmore, maybe another new guy. And the problem with the Patriots defense right now is the miscommunication in the back end. They're doing a good job filling the gaps in the run game. They're still getting pressure. They're starting to blitz heavily. And so Belichick knows that, you know, there's issues. So they're sending more blitzes. And really, once they figure out who they're supposed to take, you know, in coverage, they're going to be okay. This isn't a terrible defense talent-wise. They have a lot of athleticism. So when you look at the athleticism, you look at the talent and the coaching staff, and you put those two things together, it'll be fixed. You know, they'll spend some time in the film room. They'll look at how to cover some of these weird formations that the Panthers threw at them, these 3 wide sets, whatnot, figure out who they're supposed to take. And once the miscommunication is solved, the Patriots will be, I don't know, maybe playable again for fantasy, but definitely good enough for them to, you know, do what we said that they would do, which is, you know, make a Super Bowl run. So that's the Patriots defense. So when you look at it, it's just like, oh, what happened to him? What happened to him? Well, what happens is, you know, they apply a lot of man coverage. So when you do that, if there's any kind of miscommunications in the breakdowns in the coverage, you're going to have big plays. And so all of their big plays against them, all the plays that were, you know, really effective against them were just miscommunications in the back end. But the front line and everything, you know, they did have some injuries and they got rid of some guys. They lost their rookie, you know, their first-round pick, Rivers. And so, but the guys that are there are talented, and they'll get it all fixed up. So there's my take on the Patriots defense going forward. As far as for the Patriots as a team, the defense will be fine for them to accomplish what they need to accomplish in the playoffs. From a fantasy perspective, drop them. But keep an eye on them, because in a couple weeks, if they get it all fixed and it's all together, their schedule's really easy. They face a lot of easy offenses, so, you know, keep that in mind. All right, do what you want with all that. New segment. Pulling shit out of the mailbag. Boom. If you guys have questions, you can at me at Rowdy Piff Pod on Twitter or at Monster Piff. MonsterPiff. You can go to the YouTube videos that we have and drop comments underneath the questions. Maybe it's a fantasy question. It could be a question of any kind. And this week I've got a couple things I pulled out the mailbag. The first one is, this guy wants to make a trade. Hey Piff, should I trade Chris Hogan and CJ Prosise for Des Bryant and TJ Rawls? He's not really asking me. I found his question from somewhere, and I decided I would fucking answer it and pretend that he was asking me. So, you want to trade who? What? You have Chris Hogan and CJ Prosise, huh? And you want to try to get Des Bryant and Thomas Rawls? No. Don't do it, because Des Bryant's floor is lower than Chris Hogan's. Chris Hogan's ceiling might be lower than Bryant's ceiling, but CJ Prosise and Thomas Rawls, if I was going to pick between them two, I'd probably go with Prosise because he catches the ball more. He's, the passing down back. So if you're in a PPR league, I say no. If you're not in a PPR league, then do whatever you want. Go for it. If you think Chris Hogan has a better future than Bryant, then go for it. But I'm telling you, Bryant's schedule sucks. Chris Hogan's going to continue to make plays for the Patriots, especially with Brandon Cooks on the other end. Brady's going to have to throw a lot more because the defense for the Patriots is just not put it together. So why go with a guy like Bryant who's getting the ball forced to him and he still can't always make plays? And he's going up against tough matchups. And he's got Josh Norman coming up twice? No. So if you got Chris Hogan and CJ Prosise, just keep them. Just settle down. All right, what do we got next? Who should I start? Ben Roethlisberger or Alex Smith? Alex Smith goes against Houston this week on the road. Ben Roethlisberger against Jacksonville. They're both kind of sucky, to be honest with you. If you have to pick between the two, I'd go with Ben, because his weapons are a little bit better than Alex Smith's weapons, and I'm willing to bet that the Houston defense is going to play better than the Jacksonville defense. All right, I'm looking to add a tight end. Should I pick up Vernon Davis or Evan Ingram? Davis plays with Washington. He's on a bye. Why would you pick him up if he's on a bye? He's also not the number one tight end. He's the second tight end. Oh, so is Evan Ingram, technically. Yeah, okay, technically, but he's a pass-receiving tight end that has speed. Like, the mismatches for him are awesome because he's so fast. So linebackers can't keep up with him. Evan Ingram just definitely has a higher potential ceiling-wise. I mean, yeah, Jordan Reed could get hurt again and Vernon Davis could take over, but I mean, Evan Ingram has, stardom every week kind of play. Vernon Davis is kind of a boomer bust, and so, yeah, if you're looking to add a tight end, probably go Evan Ingram. Also, keep an eye on Zach Miller if he's on the waivers, because Zach Miller is going to be, playing tight end for a rookie quarterback. And we all know rookie quarterbacks, they need the safety valve. And a safety valve is just, oh shit, I'm under pressure. Who do I fucking throw it to really quick? Most of the time, it's a tight end. See Jason Witten in Dallas whenever Dak is getting the heat. All right, and final one. Who should I start? LeGarrette Blount versus Arizona or Marshawn Lynch versus Baltimore? Dude, Lynch has not been that good this year. He really hasn't. I mean, he played Tennessee and he looked like, he's back to the same Marshawn Lynch. But, I mean, if you look at his fantasy numbers, it's nothing to write home about. LeGarrette Blount had a good week last week, and I roll with it. I roll with it because if Philadelphia gets up early on Arizona and they want to run the ball, Blount's he's a good red zone guy to have. He has, I think, more of a chance to get a touchdown this week than Marshawn Lynch. And Baltimore has a lot of talent on defense, and I think people sleep on their defense because they've had some bad performances a couple in a row. But if you want my take on it, I'm gonna play Blount over Marshawn Lynch this week. And finally, who should I start? Beasley, Kenny Stills, or Funchess? That's a very easy one. Start Funchess, because Kelvin Benjamin's going to be on Darius Slay more than likely, and Slay's going to do a good job of wrapping him up, shutting him down. So your chances of getting points in Carolina's offense are going to run through McCaffrey and Funchess this week. I believe that. Kenny Stills and Beasley, they just haven't really shown anything. Funchess showed us something, so we'll start him over Beasley and Stills. And there you have it. So there's some questions. And like I said, if you have questions, drop them in the comments underneath the video. I'll get to them. Add us on Twitter, rowdyandthepiff.com. However you fucking do your thing. All right, game picks. Let's get through these game picks right quick. New England and Tampa Bay on Thursday night. I'm going to give the win to New England. Straight up. I don't think the defense is as bad as everybody says it is. Then what is Jameis Winston going to do about it anyways? New England gets the win. 24-16. Buffalo and Cincinnati. Buffalo held the Falcons to under 20 points last week. Cincinnati beat the Browns. I think Buffalo gets another win, and I give them the win 20 to, I don't know, 15. Pfft, what a weird number. Why would you say that? 14? I don't know. 20 to 14. Buffalo's just going to apply a lot of pressure. I think there's going to be some sacks. I think Dalton's going to make some mistakes. If you shut down A.J. Green, you don't really have to worry about that much else, Double cover A.J. Green and fucking, I think, if Cincinnati gets the run game going with Mixon, that can help, take the pressure off. But I just don't see it going Cincinnati's way. Buffalo with the win. Jets, Cleveland, this is my upset pick because I'm going with Cleveland. All right? And the reason for this is because the Jets were talking so much shit after the game last week against the Jags. I think they get too high on themselves. And they're going to remind us why they were supposed to be the worst team in the league. And I think Cleveland Browns get that W. Carolina and Detroit, and for the score, 6-3. How about that? Carolina and Detroit. Carolina beat the Patriots. Wow, they've got to be able to beat Detroit. No, I don't think so. I think Detroit's defense is going to have Slay assigned to Benjamin. It's going to shut Carolina down. They just got to stop the running game, and I think Detroit gets the win at home. 27-20. San Francisco and the Colts. Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with San Francisco. I'm going to say they win 20-17. I think the Colts are good, but their defense just has too many problems. They let the Seahawks, that have no offensive line to speak of, just rack up points. They're just throwing the ball down the field. I think San Francisco can throw the ball down the field a little bit, but I do think they're going to pound the rock with high. They're going to throw a lot of things at them. Well, because I know this, because I know what's going to happen in the future. San Francisco gets the win there. Tennessee and Miami. Everybody's saying Miami's going to throw the ball all over Tennessee because of what Houston did to them last week. But Tennessee doesn't have Mariota, right? But Tennessee can run the ball, and that's what the Jets did to Miami, and the Jets were turning up on Miami. So here's another upset pick. I picked Tennessee over Miami, and Tennessee's on the road. Yeah, even after what Tennessee did last week. I'm going to give them the win with a backup quarterback because Jay Cutler just already doesn't give a fuck. He already doesn't care. It's like week 5, and he's like, all right, whatever. I don't give a shit. Did you see him line up as a wide receiver last week? The Dolphins ran a wildcat. Jay Cutler set up outside as a wide receiver, and the fucking play started, and he literally stood there with his hands on his hips just looking at the play. Didn't fucking try to block. Didn't try to do anything. Dude, no, you're hopeless. All right, Chargers and the Giants. Dude, giving it to the Giants again. They disappointed me last week. Was a close game. The Bucks had a kicker kick a game-winning field goal? Pfft, what? Their kicker never makes field goals. They couldn't find a fucking kicker before the season started. Now all of a sudden they're winning games with the kick? No. I'm going to give the Giants the win over the Chargers. The Chargers have to travel all the way to New York at home. They're all excited about the Yankees. The Giants are fucking tired of being a headline, and so they get a win. They finally get a win. That's what I'm going to say, 35-31. Arizona and Philadelphia. This is Philadelphia. They're at home. Arizona has to travel. And Philadelphia with Blunt, and I think that Alshon Jeffrey has a big game. Philadelphia gets the win, 33-21. Oakland and Baltimore, I'm going to give the win to Oakland, even with a backup quarterback. And Baltimore has to travel. I'm going to say this game is 26-23. Oakland. Seattle and the Rams, I'm going to give the game to the Rams. It's kind of not an upset because a lot of people are picking the Rams. Just their offense is number 1 in the league right now. Seattle doesn't have what it takes to beat the Rams. I just don't see it. And they're on the road. I think LA gets the win. Green Bay and Dallas, there's no way Dallas is going to stop Aaron Rodgers enough to beat the Packers. So I'm going to give Green Bay the win, something like 33-10. No, 33-20. Kansas City, Houston, I'm going to give the win to Kansas City. They're just a really good team. Yeah, Houston's got a rookie quarterback. Kansas City's defense isn't as bad as they were. Washington surprised them with a lot of stuff, but Kansas City's good. And Alex Smith just has to manage the game, and they're going to chase the Hunt kid around all over the place, and I think Kansas City gets the win over Houston, even on the road. And Minnesota and Chicago. So Minnesota and Chicago's at home. I'm going to go with another upset here. I'm going to say Chicago beats Minnesota. Without Cook, I think that hurt the Viking spirit a little bit. And Chicago is just going to run. And I think it's a swap because Trubisky's finally getting the start in Chicago. There's a lot of energy there. So and I think he's going to show up. He's going to step up to the plate and he's going to do what he needs to do. They're going to rely on the running game. They're going to make it easy for him. And anytime there's a simple game plan and I just think Chicago can upset the Vikings, and the Vikings are gonna, they're gonna have a couple games where they're trying to figure themselves out when they don't have Cook. So yeah, Minnesota loses to Chicago. And there you have it. Those are the picks. So hopefully we get that record straightened out. Now, you want to get the weekly fantasy, huh? Play Aaron Rodgers against Dallas, and then play all of the Green Bay wide receivers and running back for that matter. You probably can't go wrong if you do that. But to be real, we'll just say Aaron Rodgers. We're going to put McKissick in at running back, the Seattle running back that splashed onto the scene last week. I think Pete Carroll rewards him for his good performance. He's at 3,200. Why not? Bilal Powell will be my other running back. Against Cleveland, they have one of the worst run defenses. Why not? The Jets get ahead. They control the game. Even though I picked the Browns to win this game, I think, Bilal Powell with Forte still out, he just sees more touches. Jerome Brown, I'm going to go ahead and play him against the Eagles. He's been putting numbers up, so why not? We'll go hit, and he's cheap, 4,500. Funchess at 5,600 because I don't think he's going to, have Slay on coverage. I think he's going to catch some balls. He's got it. Carolina's going to throw the ball, and he's most likely going to be the guy that's going to receive most of the targets. Devontae Parker against Tennessee. Well, Tennessee has the second worst pass defense in the league, or the third worst pass defense in the league. And so I guess I'm counting on Cutler to sling it to Parker, and I'll have him in my wide receiver spot. Delaney Walker is going to be my tight end this week against Miami. They're like ranked 24th in defense against tight ends. So, yeah, and then Todd Gurley against Seattle. Oh, yeah, I'll play him. The dude hasn't scored less than 30 points in my league all season. So, put him in the flex. And then the Bills at the Bengals, they're only 2,600. Yeah, they're going to get some sacks. They even have a chance to get a defensive touchdown. So, there's the weekly fantasy lineup. Do whatever you want. Remember, it's just the base. Throw some color on it. Maybe make some moves. If you're going to roll anything out and change anything, it'd probably be the running backs there. But I just did what I did. And the survivor pick, I'm going to go with the Patriots. Safest bet. If you already use the Patriots, try your hand on the Chiefs. They're a tough team to beat. They just know how to win games. And it's regular season time, so the Chiefs are flying. But if you pick those two teams, you're probably safe with the Packers as well. All right, it's about that time now where I have to say goodbye. But before I do, you need to review my shit. And you need to download the shit on iTunes. It's free, okay? And you can go on YouTube and you can search Rowdy and the Piff. You can search Piff on the Blitz. You can add to us at Rowdy Piff Pod on Twitter. And get at us and drop the comments on the YouTubes and show me the likes and show me some support. And I don't want to have to threaten you, but I will. So, send us the questions, share the shit. Tell us how much you love us. We need that love and we need the support. So, episode 5. Who was the greatest NFL player to wear the number 5? I don't know. Argue with me about it. Was it Jeff Garcia or Donovan McNabb? But that was episode 5. So, it was total waves. Such a vibe. And I will see you all next week. Later.
Where the weight at? Before I ran up in the building, talking way back. I stay late night, dreaming about the payback. All I wanna do is get rich, yo. I get looking for a lick, yo. About to rob 'em for the shit, yo. Want the rollie on the wrist,